The Cubs are getting high marks for their offseason, and the centerpiece of that was Alex Bregman. But on the other hand, the Red Sox, who didn't get Bregman, are being pounded by the media. Could he be the difference on this Cubs roster this year? We're going to talk a little Matt Shaw, learning the Cubs' utility position and playing some outfield, life-size bobbleheads invading Chicago, Owen Caissie talking about the Cubs trade, and Ben Cowles finds a new home. All that right here on the Cubs Baseball channel. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, hit the bell. Let's get this show started. Good to see you guys today. We're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers, and you guys are helping us get there. Love you for it. Keep it going. Go Cubs. What do you say, everybody? Welcome to the Cubs Baseball channel. I'm Mick Nation. Look, the lights are on. Yeah, we're paying the bills here. Now let's get these things to where we can actually do a show. And it's great to see you and that you're a part of our channel. Now let's talk right off the bat how important it was signing Alex Bregman. What a huge signing for the Cubs this was. And we love the infield now. You look at the Cubs defense, what he adds to third base, having one of the best third basemen in the game, and he's on the I would say Olympic, but the World Baseball Classic team as the third baseman, World Series champion multiple times, came to the Cubs to win one. And you look at the infield and you're like, okay, so now we got Dansby Swanson, and we got Alex Bregman, we got Nico Horner, we got Michael Busch, got a hell of an infield. So a lot of people around the game are going, you know what? The Cubs had a pretty good offseason, and maybe there's some moves left. I don't know. I think they would have liked to have gotten Zach Gallen. But with that said, the Red Sox are getting killed for not signing him. Jason Stark of The Athletic just released his annual survey where he talks with MLB executives, former executives, managers, scouts, and coaches. And they vote on different things, right? And the most irreplaceable subtraction was Bregman not going back to the Red Sox. And I think the Red Sox thought they had him. They made a pretty good offer. It felt like he was about to sign there. And then the Cubs came in and they made a deal that he couldn't resist. And that ended up being the difference between the Cubs and the Red Sox having this highly sought after third baseman. So that's exciting. Makes the Cubs a ton better. And it also turns Matt Shaw from the Cubs third baseman into a utility guy, right? But it gives you a lot of depth because Shaw, having all the experience of being the Cubs third baseman last year, is only going to help him. And what's interesting is that they're trying to play him in the outfield. Now, the Cubs missed an opportunity with him coming up as a minor leaguer and not playing him in the outfield back when, he could have learned that position. Now, I understand why they didn't, because they thought, well, he's going to be the third baseman. We need to get him as many reps at third as we can. He played third, he played second, sometimes played short, but didn't play the outfield. So now he's playing the outfield. And Ian Happ was kind of talking about Matt Shaw playing the outfield. I don't think he meant this in a bad way, but he told MLB.com, Shaw told MLB.com that Happ basically helped him with the length of his glove. Yeah, he's like, 14 and a half inches. And, and then, all of a sudden it's like, Hap's like, hey, outfielders, they use the bigger glove. And so it's a deeper pocket. And Hap's won some gold gloves, and Shaw, being honest, telling the media that. And then people were like, oh God, like this guy, he doesn't even know what size glove to wear. I mean, so you're talking about a raw transition. But if he's going to get experience in the outfield, it's going to happen a lot in spring training. And you wonder if that's going to be enough for the Cubs to feel comfortable to put him in during the regular season. And it's not like Wrigley's outfield's easy. You know, when you're dealing with the wind conditions and the sun, those day games, it's tough. So I don't know. I can't imagine him going back to the minor leagues again. But with that said, I could see that if they didn't feel like he was ready and they really needed him for that spot, you know, maybe they would put him back there. I don't know. I think they want his bat in the lineup. I think if he has a decent spring, I can't imagine him not making the team. But you know, the minor leagues, I mean, if you play a month in the outfield in the minor leagues, you get all those reps. You make mistakes down there. You make mistakes in the big leagues, and people lose confidence in you and you don't play, you know. And there's only so much you're going to learn from, you know, machines and fungos and BP. You got to have game action. So I'm curious to kind of see how that all pans out. Now I want to tell you guys about Mick Nation. There's our QR code right there, AveD. Make sure that you hit us up there. That's our Web3 home. We got Connor checking the comments all the time, trying to see if, you know, we'll give some hats away. We'll sell some hats as well. I don't see you guys sporting these in the bleachers this year. The Cubs marketing campaign is out. The campaign this year, you know, like when you hear it, last year it was, I think it was like, you have to see it, maybe something like that. This one is this, right? This is the marketing campaign. And then the Cubs, and I don't know if it's kind of part of the same campaign, but to get people fired up about, you know, tickets, the Cubs are putting giant bobbleheads around Chicago. So it's pretty awesome, right? I love a giant bobblehead. So, you know, they're going to drop life-size bobbleheads across the city. And that is happening today. And according to the Cubs, the first 150 people who find a bobblehead or bobblehead box will win a pair of tickets to a regular season game. I love this, right? So they're saying that in addition to the free tickets, fans can get complimentary donuts and Cubs branded items at each spot, right? So you got Ben Zobrist's bobblehead at Chicago's Union Station. You got Sammy Sosa bobblehead at the Tribune Tower. You got a Kerry Wood bobblehead at North Michigan Ave. There's a giant bobblehead box and a World Series championship trophy at DePaul University Lincoln Park campus. And I love it. So you got to get there, get yourself ready, and I guess go and find these boxes. Nothing better than a little competition to get ready for single game tickets to go on sale Friday at 10 o'clock. And I've heard from the Cubs must be really pushing tickets this year, because I've heard from them myself on, hey, do I want to buy tickets? And we gave away tickets last year, and we'll do the same thing this year. And we're planning on doing some live shows in Wrigleyville this year as well. So whether that's this show or another show. And you know what that other show is? Boom, there it is. Beer Money with Jody Davis. That's because we pay him beer money. Anyway, the Cubs Hall of Famer and I are going to team up every weekend on the show, so make sure that you guys check it out. Also got Gonzo coming on with us on Friday. Mark Gonzalez, longtime writer, OG in the biz. So I can't wait for that and expect more with Tony Andracki as well. So we got a lot going on with the channel here and giving you guys some great content. All right, let me move on to the next thing I want to talk about today, and that is former Cubs top prospect Owen Caissie talking about his trade. Now, he was interviewed by Craig Mish, and basically Mish is asking him, like, in this interview, which I don't like him as much in that that Marlins blue as I did the Cubs blue. That red hair, man, they throw him up on the table. I didn't want to trade this guy. I mean, I just didn't. But you hope that that we both win in the deal, because I really like Owen Caissie. But there it is right there. Look, there it is. I'll pull it up for you. That's on the Sports Illustrated site. There he is. Look at this guy. Anyway, they ask him about what he thought about the trade, and he's basically like, look, there's a lot more opportunities here. It was hard to break in with the Cubs because they're a good team, and he did finally break in, but I don't think they really gave him a shot to play enough. And he was talking about the Marlins kind of being a little bit more focused on the little things that it takes to be successful. And some people looked at that as a shot. I don't think so. I think he basically, when you're the Marlins, you can't miss, right? Well, when you're the Cubs, I mean, you can buy yourself out of some of those issues. And if you're the Dodgers, you just buy everybody, right? So I'm watching, I just don't think this is going to be a Matt Mervis situation. I just don't, man. And I like Mervis too, but this guy strikes out a lot. He mentioned that in the interview. But, man, he makes up for it with the power. So we'll find out. But I can't imagine him not making the team out of spring training. Talking about making the team, remember we were talking about Ben Cowles. He was released by the Cubs on his birthday to make room for Shelby Miller. Well, he has been claimed by the Toronto Blue Jays. It's weird how these guys, they'll just bounce around, right? Well, you don't have if you're like the 39th or the 40th guy on the 40-man, anytime there's a move made, you're the guy bounced off. Cowles, I've seen him. He gets a ton of hits, can play decent defense, and he'll be with Toronto until they don't have any spot on the 40-man. Maybe he'll go somewhere else. But I wish the guy the best of luck. Kind of sorry to get on your 26th birthday, like your birthday. Like, hey, surprise, you're out. All right, look, that's the show for the day. I'm so fired up about what Alex Bregman will bring to the Cubs. And I kind of started the show with this. I'm going to finish with this. The fact that he's one of these like high IQ players, I think, is a really big deal for the Cubs. I mean, because you got Pete Crow Armstrong, you got Michael Busch, you got, if Kevin Alcantara makes the team, Matt Shaw, you got young players. You want them to learn from someone. And I thought that last year, Kyle Tucker was a very good example of how to approach an at-bat, right? Not to swing at pitches that weren't strikes, right? And when you get a pitch to hit, drive it. I mean, when he was swinging the bat at the beginning of the season, the Cubs were really good. But the other thing, too, is Bregman's known for basically, follow by example leadership and a lot of confidence, and the fact that he's a grinder. And I think that's only going to help the young players on the team. And I think that's why the Red Sox are getting criticized so bad, because they got young players too. And you would figure that Boston would be a big market, but so are the Cubs. And the Cubs went out and they made the deal to get him. So, all right, guys. Hey, don't forget, if you haven't watched it yet, check out Beer Money with Jody Davis. Really fired up about the show. I've talked about it before, but he was best friends with Dale Earnhardt Sr. If you don't know about the NASCAR legend, greatest NASCAR driver of all times, the Intimidator, some great stories about him. We talked a little bit about Rhino. We talked about spring training, some of the players on the team. We'll get into that, him getting into the Hall of Fame, and we'll try to have a new episode for you on that each week. So make sure you check it out on the channel. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. Thanks for being here. And go Cubs. We'll do it again.